Hey everybody, welcome back to Crazy Dave's Crew. I'm Laura and this is Thursday Threads. I am really excited about what we're going to do today. It is a super cute block and it is way easier than it looks like. So be right back and I will show you what we need and what we need to do. See you in a minute. So we're going to do a heart. Okay? And it looks like, okay, that's going to be a little bit more than I want to get into. And I'll be honest, I hadn't tried one of these because I thought it was too hard. But it really isn't. And there's a lot of things that you can do with it. Okay? I think my favorite one is kind of a 4th of July. Thinking about Quilts of Valor, Memorial Day, 4th of July. But those are some that I have done. And I'm very pleased. Well, what do you need to get started? You need some 5-inch squares. And you need some 2.5-inch squares. You need a straight edge. And I would recommend a pencil. And then of course your sewing machine, some scissors, you know, the standard. You can get your squares, you can do charm packs, you can do layer cakes, you can, you know, whatever, however you want to get the squares. I personally just went to my stash, got my fabrics out, and cut some 5-inch squares, 5-inch strips, and then I cut them into squares. And then made some 2.5-inch. So let's do, I'm going to need 4 of one fabric. I'm going to need 2 of another fabric. Alright? And then I want 4 2.5-inch squares of this fabric. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's just move all of this out of the way because we don't need that. So we have 4 of one fabric, 2 of your other fabric, and then 4 2.5-inch squares of that fabric. So let's just lay this out. Basically, we're looking at a 4-patch with a twist. Okay? So we've got square, 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 square. Alright? So what we're going to do, we're going to take our background fabric, and I'm going to draw a line. Now, some people will tell you, oh, you just iron it, press it, you know, that works just fine. It does, if that works for you. It doesn't work for me. I have a more difficult time. I personally prefer drawing a line, and this is where I'm going to sew. So I'm going to draw a line from corner to corner, and I'm going to do that on both of my background fabric. And I want to make sure that my line is right on the corner to corner. I'm going to take my heart fabric and my background fabric, right sides to right sides. And then I'm just going to sew down right on that line for both of these. So let's go to the sewing machine and let's just sew those down. As always, I like to pin it so that my fabric doesn't slip. But you don't need a lot of pins on this. It's going to be real easy. And I've got a little hole, little guide right in the center of my foot. And I'm going to let that be my guide. Okay. So you see I've got my line. I'm going right through that space in my foot. And I'm just going to sew that down. And the next one. Now obviously this is not going to be the block, so let's go do something else to this block so that it'll work right. Be right back. Alright, so we've got our seam. I'm going to use one of my rulers, my straight edges, and it's one that has 1/4 inch markings. And I'm going to lay it, not edge on the seam, but I'm going to lay it with the 1/4 inch on the seam. And if you are looking to buy a straight edge or ruler, I would recommend a clear one. I would recommend one that has the 1/4 inch. Omni Grip are real good. And we're just going to, their fingers on our ruler. We're going to put this aside for in our scrap bucket. Okay, and we're using white as our heart. We're going to do the same thing to this one, using the 1/4 inch guide on the seam. We're going to cut that off. Okay, so you've got a little bit of a seam allowance, and that's good. And I'm not going to press these down yet, and I will tell you why in a minute. So we have got the bottom of our heart. Now let's work on the top. Alright, so this time we're going to want to, each of these will go on the top. So don't put your pencil away yet, because what you did for these, you're going to do for these. Right corner to corner. That's a nice little line. Do the same thing for this one. Okay. So we want our line to go from the top center to the middle. So we're going to take this over and we're going to sew this down. To the machine. Again, I pin. If you can do this without pinning, you are a rock star. So again, using the center guide of my foot, I'm just going to sew straight down, corner to corner. And now I'm going to do the other one. Right side to right side. And again, we're going to take it from the top. And we're just going to stitch that down. And now what you can do, just take your scissors and you can cut. If you want to use a straight edge, great. Or if you just want to cut it. Little pieces can always be put into your scrap bucket for making scrappy string quilts. Crazy quilts, you know, blocks, different things. And now we've got one of our tops. And again, I'm not pressing it yet. Alright, let's go ahead and work on this other one. This thing, you're going to do the same thing to this one. I'll be back and I'm going to show you what we're going to do. Now I'm going to show you how I decide which way I'm pressing things, because I'm wanting to make sure my seams all match up. and I want them nestled in nice. So let's come on. All right. So we're going to go lay this out. So let's just go ahead and press these outward for one side. And just kind of, okay. Now, this one can go out to the out. The inside, the inside seam is the one you want to be careful of. Okay. So when these get laid down, I want to be able to nestle this in. So this one's going this way, so I need this one to go this way. Let's go pin it. All right. So I've got my squares. I've pressed things down. I like to nest those seams. And if you just follow along, you can just, boom, and you can feel it just fitting in perfectly, just like a Lincoln log almost, you know? It just fits in. And then you can see, all right. And I'm going to pin. I'm also going to pin that seam in. Double check it. Looks good. And now I'm going to sew this seam down. All right, so I've done the top. And it's gotten pretty close there. Looks good. So now what we're going to do, when we press this, we're going to press one towards the light and one towards the dark so we can get a good nest. Be right back. So I've pressed these, the bottom point. One is going towards the light, one is going towards the dark, so that when I put them together, I should have a nice nested seam right there. And if you look, that's pretty good there. So let's pin that. And let's sew this side down. All right, so I've got my top, I've got my bottom, and we're ready to sew this seam here. And you guessed it, I pressed the top one way and the bottom the other way. And I'm just going to nest that seam in, that middle seam in beautifully. Very nice. And pin the rest of it just so no slippage. All right, and then we're going to sew that down. Final step is you're just going to press that seam down, and then lo and behold, you've made a heart block. Ta-da! Lots of varieties that you can do. A lot of color choices. Birthdays, Christmas. Maybe you love Halloween. Table runners, placemats, wedding gifts, baby showers, baby blankets, wall hangings, pillows, chair covers. Sky's the limit. Well, I hope this has been helpful. I hope you have enjoyed this block as much as I have enjoyed it. I cannot wait to make some more. And they should measure about 9.5 inches. But of course, you can make them bigger or smaller. Instead of starting out with a 5-inch block, maybe you want to start out with a 6-inch block. Then what size do you need for the little ones? That's right, just half. So you need a 3-inch. So if you start off with 6-inch big block, you need a 3-inch small block. Easy breezy. You can do this. I believe in you. I have faith in you. And I cannot wait to see your pictures. Again, I hope this has been helpful. Hope you'll be creative. Don't forget to subscribe to Crazy Dave's Crew. I appreciate you very much for joining me for Thursday Threads, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you and have a great day. Bye.